Hey folks, I hope everybody is doing very well today. Today I'm going to talk about content and I'm going to give you some interesting stats that I found to be like just kind of like mind-blowing. So, I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to talk about three signs to give you an indication that the content that you're putting out isn't converting, and then I'm gonna tell you what to do instead to start converting your content, people that watch your content, into leads for your business. All right, let's see, sharing this. Okay, now I want you to think about this. Okay, 79% of all leads you generate through the content that you create will never turn into customers. I want you to let that sink in for a bit. I want you to think about that because all the time, all the effort, all the late nights that all of us spend to come up with content for people, and then we hit publish, and most of it just dies. So here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. And in today's session, I'm going to show you the three biggest mistakes that people make when their content doesn't convert, how to spot the signs early on so you can pivot so you're not wasting time, and the exact fixes that you can use right away, um, to flip the script and get content that actually works. And by the way, you don't have to stay up all night thinking of content ideas. I'm going to tell you how at the end of this so you'll never have to worry about content again, because I see it all the time. What am I going to post today? People run out of things to post. So we'll talk about that. So if you've ever posted content that got likes, but that didn't turn into leads and it didn't turn into sales, that probably means that you were making content that isn't converting. And I'm gonna show you what to do instead. And you're not alone. There are three signs that you can recognize when your content isn't converting, and I'm gonna give them to you so you can shift your strategy and exactly what to do instead, so that your content actually leads to sales, actually leads to leads, not just engagement. It means nothing if people engage with your content, but they don't join your email list, so they don't end up, becoming a customer. So, excuse me. There's a simple framework I have to fix these mistakes. Let's jump in. Now, getting likes and views is good. It feels good. You might get a dopamine hit, but likes do not pay bills. They don't increase your business revenue. They don't increase your bottom line. So, what we need is a system that turns attention into action, right? Into leads, calls, and sales. And most of us create content to educate people, which is good. But education alone does not move people to buy. So if there's no clear next step, and this is one of the biggest things, if there's no clear next step, then your content becomes just like everything else on the internet, just info that might be useful, but it's not a sales driver in your business. So hint, you need a clear next step. Let's hit these three mistakes. You want to make it actionable. Now, when your content is scattered all over the place, and maybe you're just starting, you don't necessarily have a strategy, you might just post a lot of things to see what works, and that's okay to start. But people can't connect the dots when you do that. Even when you're starting, you should go in with a specific strategy. When people don't see a clear path to working with you or what the next step is, they just scroll to the next thing, and then you've lost them. So teach everything everywhere. It's what I hear people people saying. But the thing is, when you try to go big like that, you target no one, right? And it's just kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're making content, it seems like it's going into the void, nobody responds, things like that. And you don't have to do that. So I'm going to give you a framework so all your content that you create is targeted. And the first thing uh, that you need to do is give the next step, right? Uh, so if your content is all over the place, or you're giving value without a path, you have no call to action, right? Value is great, but without a call to action, your audience is left hanging. They don't know what to do next, or they'll just scroll to the next video. So you want to always show them the next step. Maybe that's a free resource, free training, or an offer, right? You should be presenting offers all the time. You don't know which one might stick. All right. Sometimes it's just in the wording. Sometimes it's just in an offer. People like different things. So the more offers you make, the more things the more offers you make, the more things you try out, the better your results. So don't make people think. People are lazy today. People are lazy. They want everything done for them. So tell them what to do and give them the next step. For example, instead of saying thanks for watching after your video, you can say, if this video really spoke to an issue that's been bugging you and you want to fix it, here's where you start. Down in the description, we can help you change it. Something like that. That's a simple call to action. So instead of saying thanks for watching, you want to give them the next step. Like agitate that pain and then say, hey, you don't have to be in pain anymore because I have something that will help you change it. All right. uh, Now, another sign is that your content just stops at awareness. Now, it's true that before people will buy from you, they have to be aware that you exist. So if you're stuck at the good info stage where you're giving a bunch of good info, people might consume your content, but are they buying from you? And so are they joining your email list? Are they taking action? These are questions you need to think about when you're creating content. And most content lives in the awareness zone. Teaching, inspiring, entertaining. Again, these are all good things, but sales happen in the conversion zone, and that's when you give people a reason to act now. And again, part of the reason why a lot of people don't necessarily get them to the next step is because they either don't ask for it or they don't tell them what to do next. So don't make that mistake. Now here's the shift. Okay. Don't just post to educate. Use what I call the HVC framework. Hook them in, give them real value, and then end with a clear call to action. And so I'm going to break it down over the next few slides how you can do this in all your content. Your call to action should be to do one of two things: to get coins or connects. And I think I heard Letitia Style say this. I want to give content to the creator who came up with it. But to get coins, to send them to a product or an offer, or connects to get them on your email list, which is an audience that you own. Now, so you get them on your email list, or you get them to an offer for a paid product. Now, one is either building prospective buyers or um, people that actually buy, right? If they get on your email list and you say the right things, they could buy when it's at the right time for them. Both are good for your business. Now, every piece of content, every single time, a call to action to something that makes sense, that is the next step. Now, let's break down HVC, right? H is the hook. Your hook should grab attention by hitting a pain point or desired outcome. Don't just give tips, don't just give education, but start with a problem and that your audience already feels, right? That they already have a problem with it, right? Cuz just think about it. You're taking time to come up with all these content ideas. You want to convert people to your list, you want people to buy your products. A lot of people get stuck at that content stage. So I started this off by saying that, look, almost 80% of people will never become a buyer, right? That's a hook. So for instance, you could do something like that in your content. Use a hook, use a pain point, start with that, and then start telling them how you can help them. And if you've ever heard of the PASS method, problem, agitate, solution, that's a good model to follow. Start with the problem, agitate the problem, and then solve it in your content. So, for example, here's another example. Instead of saying, here are 5 tips to do X, what you want to say, for instance, to start with a pain point: are you struggling to get clients? Here's the number one mistake that you're making. If you want to learn how to fix that mistake, watch this, that kind of thing. So that's how you can set it up to start with the problem. Let's talk about delivering value. This is the next part of the HVC framework. You want to deliver uh, one powerful insight or step that people can take today. I even have an issue with this sometimes where I give out too much information, right? The less information you give and you get super focused on one thing, it's easier for people to follow that. So give them one step that they can take today. And the goal is to help you build trust and to show that you understand people's problems and you don't give everything away. So one clear, actionable step. And then the last part of this framework is the call to action. Always end with a call to action, and it doesn't have to be pushy. It can just be an invitation to the next step, like you're talking to a friend. All right. So without this, you could be leaving money on the table. You could be leaving leads on the table. Some people might take you up on that offer. Other people won't. That's okay. You just keep going, but it needs to be there in each piece of content. And when other people see it down the line, when you start to gain some notoriety, when you show up consistently and you start to build that audience, that will be built into your content already. So examples at the end of the video, you can say, look, if you like this video or you want to go deeper with me, I have a guide, I have a workshop, I have a join me on a call so we can get you to the next step of solving X in Y amount of time without pain point. That's how you frame it. So again, we mentioned an example. If you want to start with, like, instead of starting with something like tips for whatever, in this example, 5 tips for content creation, you want to say, are you struggling with content that doesn't convert? Here's one thing you can do to fix it. The link to the training is down below. See the difference there? In the second example, it still gives value, but it also points people towards a next step. And that is how you turn likes into leads. Now, this framework works. It matters when you're getting engagement on your content, but you're not getting clients or you're not converting people to your email list. Maybe you're posting consistently, you're showing up consistently, but you're not seeing progress. And also when you want content that actually down the line primes people to buy from you. So this framework works especially when you've built an audience already, or when you're building an audience but you're not seeing necessarily an ROI. This is the missing link, or one of the missing links rather. So think about that first fact that I gave you. All right. I told you I wanted you to think about it. 79% of leads that you generate through content will never turn into customers. Ouch. Ouch. Makes you want to quit sometime thinking about, like, if I'm making all this content and only 20% or 21% of people are going to convert, why should I keep creating content? Right. It's just, you have to get the right formula. And that's what I gave you earlier when we were talking about the HBC framework. But what if you knew that every time you created a piece of content, at least it had the right setup and it would get seen, right? I want you to be part of that 21%. So that get content right. And so every piece of content, every time a call to action to something that makes sense. If you want to learn to do content right, the Entrepreneur Accelerator can help you do that. I'm going to drop a link right now, because if you want to learn more about how you can get your content marketing strategy done for the next year, so you don't have to worry about what you're going to create, um, you can learn more about it. I'm gonna drop it in the chat here. Those 2 links should be there. Uh, I guess I gotta put less there. We'll try this again. Anyway, I'm gonna drop the link to. So the link is there. And then also, um, I have something called the Entrepreneur Accelerator. If you're interested in just starting with content in the next few minutes, I'm talking like less than 25 minutes, and you want to get a content marketing strategy for the next year, then go ahead and join the Entrepreneur Accelerator. I just dropped that link in the chat also. If you're one of those people who necessarily might like more hands-on coaching, like with me, then also I have a 5-day intensive, which is basically we jump on a Zoom call for 5 days, and you also get access to the Entrepreneur Accelerator course. So you get that course, and then we'll jump on Zoom for 5 days. And it's a high intensive coaching experience, where I actually walk you through the stuff in that course. And then you can ask questions. And then at the end of that 5 days, you'll have a clear path going forward on what to do with your content. So let me drop that in the chat. If you're interested in that, I left all these links in the chat. Learn more about the Entrepreneur Accelerator. You can join it now, or you can join the Entrepreneur Accelerator 5-day intensive coaching. I'd be happy to walk you through that so that you can start making content that actually gets leads and that actually leads people to getting sales. As always, I enjoy helping you guys make money, helping you guys get leads. And so this is the end. If you like this video, you will like almost all of the other lives that I do. They're very similar and they help you with different aspects of building your online business. That's it for today. My name is Mario. Peace and blessings. I will see you later.